So we'll get them all up now. We have Dan Flash Ryan Lowes, Zach Shailaman Shayla, and Imogen Stanley, if you come to the stage. Okay, as with all the other positions, each of you gets 2 minutes to put your manifesto forward and say what you want to say. Afterwards, there will be 3 questions which are predetermined. Each of you will get a minute to answer each question. We go in alphabetical order, so up first with their view on their manifesto and what they want to say is Dan Flash Ryan Lowes.
Hi, I'm Flash, the current AU President, and I'm running for the new Sports Officer role, a role that I helped save and create. Last year I promised greater participation and greater promotions. I have delivered on these, with the AU membership growing, which has led to clubs gaining more members, such as kickboxing. A fully established club this year, from 10 to 20 members, now has around 100. I also pushed to introduce seating for international students at varsity, so they can be in a comfortable environment and can enjoy the biggest student event of the year. In regards to promotion, look at the creation of SUAU Media, something I helped create, and has over 21,000 hits in 3 months. And if you see most of my statuses on Facebook, they are celebrating Swansea's many successes. My vision for sport here in Swansea is to make sport accessible, affordable, and fun for all. My manifesto has 7 clear points, which are: 1, to increase the number of varsity teams taking place, to bring in new clubs, fans, and social groups, teams of international students and students with disabilities. Taster lessons. These taster lessons would be for female and international students looking to get into sport and get into different sports each week. I would create subcommittees to the management structure to make student sport more relevant to each club, including pre-summer captains training. I want to make sports membership work for you. Make the membership relevant to you with added benefits and incentives such as the uni gym and deals with local companies. I will promote sponsorship within the SU as well. Divas, the travel shop, Spa, to keep money in your student union, as well as looking for non-alcohol-based sponsorship. I will encourage volunteering in the local community, in schools and junior clubs to boost CVs and open up new opportunities for individuals and clubs. Active campaigns to highlight the key issues in sport: homophobia, disability, sexism, image issues, which are current in our society today. I vow to continue fighting for and defending clubs within a new structure. The foundations have been laid, now let me build on them. You need a leader. I'm a proven player, coach, referee, and president. Keep a leader to fight for sports and your rights. So please, vote Flash for sports.
Okay, up next we have Zach Shailaman Shayla. Zach, you have 2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Zach Shayla, and I'm the current club captain of men's football. In my year this year, I've transformed the club that was in terrible amounts of debt and brought it out to be such a striving and successful club. I promise to promote and protect sport at Swansea University. I will strive for equality. The focus has to be on all clubs, and an equal amount of time has to be spent with each club, regardless of membership size and base. Prosperity. I believe that clubs have to be given the opportunity to create themselves and to sustain themselves. The focus needs to be on needs, not wants. For the AU cannot continue the way that it is. Self-sufficiency is the key. I promise to bring sport at Swansea into the 21st century via means such as Twitter and Facebook. I look around me constantly on a Wednesday afternoon, running SUMFC on Twitter, and I realise that universities such as Loughborough, Northampton, successful universities promote themselves. Every sport in this university should be on Twitter, should be promoting themselves, and should be spreading their message across the United Kingdom. With all sports doing well this year, I'll fight for fees to be reduced at the sports centre and for it to be available more times to more clubs. When I came to Swansea University 2 years ago, I realised that there was a lot more to be done, and I'm the man that can do this for you.
Thank you, Zach. Up next, we have Imogen Stanley. Imogen, you have 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Imogen Stanley and I'm running for Sports Officer. I can relate to all sports at Swansea. I can relate to the elite and the social. I've sailed for Team GB and been represented represented Team GB and have placed 3 times inside the top 10 at 3 World Championships, as well as having a Youth Olympic gold medal. However, I'm also the sailing captain and thoroughly enjoy my Wednesday afternoons down at Mumbles for a lovely social sail. I have 5 main points: the AU-SU merger, transport, finance, small clubs, and captains. The AU-SU merger is an opportunity to use the expertise of the current student union officers. As well as this, I will introduce regular office hours so that when you need to speak to me, you can speak to me. Transport. This year there have been some issues with transport. I will improve accessibility to transport for clubs, including minibuses and towing vehicles. Finance. This is currently a very big problem inside the athletic union, and I can see 3 main ways to fix this. Make sure you can see your account balance immediately, streamline expenses, and create instant petty cash claims. Growth of small clubs. I plan to encourage the growth of small clubs by listening to their issues. As a small club captain, I understand how frustrating it is not to have your issues heard. To do this, I will hold monthly captains' forums with one-to-one meeting to get your views heard. And finally, captains. Captains work extremely hard at Swansea University Sport. I will guarantee that Wednesday night privileges remain, as well as introducing a captain's handbook to aid the running of clubs and sports and teams, and everyone else, alongside the student union. This will provide contact details and information, anything else you need. I will be a loud voice for sport inside the student union, and I believe I can give every student a better sporting and social experience. Vote Stanley for Sports Officer. Sport is safe for Stanley.
Okay, thank you, Imogen. Now, like I said, there are 3 predetermined questions, which each of you will have a minute to answer. It goes in alphabetical order and changes per question. The first question is, with the changeover of sports to the Students' Union, how would you get sports teams to cross over effectively and engage with the union? That's, with the changeover of sports to the Students' Union, how would you get sports teams to cross over effectively and engage with the union? First to answer is Dan Flash Ryan Loves. You have 1 minute.
Right, to approach this question straight away, bringing sports teams into the union. Give it a go week. Great example of the AU and the SU working together, and it was a really good week and it worked really well. Some clubs it worked better for, of course. Some societies it worked better for. So that's one thing I've done already with the current Societies and Services Officer, where we're trying to bring things together and we're trying to make the merger work. Already this year I've worked with the Women's Officer, the International Officer, Societies and Services on key issues in regards to sports and how we can overlap together. Moving the sports teams across is what I've been working hard on this year. It's going to be a smooth transition, okay? It's been a hard year, and I'm here. I want to be here next year because I'm going to fight for this, and I want sports teams to have their voice heard within the SU.
Thank you, Dan. Up next, Zach Shayla. You have 1 minute to answer the same question.
With the merger happening this year and the sports having to move successfully across, I'm aware that clubs are in an amount of debt and they have to get themselves out of this debt. I will strive to help clubs financially to move across and be successful. To work successfully with the union, Divas is a good example how things have worked this year. You can get the 2 to work together. I want to have the Students' Union as part of the AU in Swansea and for Sports Swansea to take off. Insurance policies will now, I hope for them to work through the Students' Union and with your Students' Swansea events card so it can all work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. And finally, Imogen Stanley. Imogen, you have 1 minute to answer the question.
Currently, sport is very isolated from the rest of the student union. Bringing it into the student union will merge everyone together. And the way I want to do that is by using the skills I have as a member of the AU exec, as a captain of my sport, and of the skills I've learned over the past 3 years of uni, together with the women's officer to promote female sport, the welfare officer to promote health in the university, and international students, getting them involved when they come in January. I think the main thing to get it all going is to work together. Using my skills and everyone else's, we can have a better student union. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Imogen. The second question is, if elected, how would you build and further the university's reputation as a centre of sporting excellence? That is, if elected, how would you build and further the university's reputation as a centre of sport and excellence? To answer that first would be Zach Shayla.
As I mentioned before in my manifesto, I would like to focus on technology. I've explored the avenues this year, and via the means of Twitter and Facebook, teams can and will build on Swansea University's great reputation. I aim to secure a lot more funding for sport by incorporating it in the student experience, and I see no time better than the present, with the merger happening, to incorporate sport at Swansea into the current student experience to allow more funding to be developed to it and allow the sport's reputation to grow. I've overseen the football men's first team promotion to the Premiership this year, and I know that the rugby club have got a team in the Premiership as well, and I hope that all clubs can play at the highest level and that we can really put Swansea on the map.
Okay, thank you, Zach. Next to answer that question is Imogen Stanley. Imogen, you have 1 minute.
Personally, I have a history of sporting excellence. I told you before in my speech how I've represented Team GB. This experience I can bring to members of the Student Union and the members of Sports Club to help you guys out. One thing that I know is a key issue at the moment is sports facilities. Fairwood is an issue that needs to be addressed somehow, or finding alternative places to play sport. That is a key issue. The new water sports centre, that's going to promote the seaside, promote Swansea's idyllic situation, and we need to use this resource to get the most out of it for any water sports teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Imogen. And finally, to answer that question is Dan Flash Ryan Lowe's. Dan, you have 1 minute.
As I've already mentioned in my manifesto about putting volunteers into the local community, furthering the university's reputation, we've got to look a lot bigger and a lot smaller as well. We've got the local community, we've got some great facilities, we've got some fantastic teams. Let's bring in our Swansea locals to come to cheer on our teams on a Wednesday afternoon. And at the same time, the media side of things, to get the news out there even further. With the SUAU media, which I already mentioned, this website goes around the world. You get hits from Australia, South America, in Asia as well. People want to hear about Swansea University, and at the moment we're putting it out there. And with the facilities as well, with our reputation, we've got some brilliant facilities. As already mentioned, we're going to have the new water sports centre. That's a great opportunity for us to put volunteers in there and to promote our sports teams in the local community and bringing in more people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Right, on to the third and final question, which is, what would you do to ensure all AU sports teams get equal representation? That is, what would you do to ensure all AU sports teams get equal representation? To answer that question first is Imogen Stanley. You have 1 minute.
Many teams at Swansea University feel they're not represented enough, probably why this question came up. I think one of the couple of things that we could do. Number one, funding. A lot of small clubs, which is one of my manifesto points, feel like they're not getting the support, funding-wise, or from members of staff on how to improve themselves. That can be one thing to equalise the clubs, bring them up to the standards of rugby, football, hockey, the other larger clubs. Second point is I've just forgotten it, so we'll just go with that 1 point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Imogen. Next to answer that question is Dan Flash Ryan Lowe's. Dan, you have 1 minute to answer the question.
Equal representation, I'll just give you a quick run through how things work in the AU. We have a management meeting, we have all the clubs that can attend. If we ever have a vote, it's done democratically, and each team gets 2 votes. So whether you're a club with 400 members or whether you're a smaller club of only 20, you've got the same amount as, say, as a much larger club. That's the way that works so far. That's what I want to keep promoting next year into the SU, to make sure each club does still have their independent voice. In regards to getting equal representation, in my opinion, the clubs do. If they want to come and have a talk to me, they can. The thing is, some clubs have bigger demands than others. Some clubs may just need to have a field to go have a train on, whereas others may need to have transport, extra finance to get them there, and to fund their kit. If they come in, they talk to me, I will put it through to the finance committee, and I speak to them, and I talk them how to do it through the right channels, and I usually word the emails with them, and I work hard to make sure that each team does get the representation if they come up and see me, and if they come up and they care like I do. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. And finally, to answer that question, we have Zach Shayla. Zach, you have 1 minute.
One of my main points in my manifesto was equality. It's the first point that I looked at because I feel that all sports, regardless of size, regardless of membership base, regardless of how good you are, you all deserve an equal amount of my time, and I should give you an equal amount of my time as well. I will strive to do my best for you. Training will be given to captains to help you improve your club. Funding is a big issue. You'll need to be taught how to do things properly. There's a too big a gap from previous club captains and previous committee members to the incoming club captains and incoming committee members. There should be, and there will be, an overlap there. AU management meetings is one of the biggest gripes I had this year. I would like to make them more relevant, more structured, and more important. I feel that every club has a say and should have their say. There should be a Q&A at the end of each management meeting, and that's one of the things I'll look to do for next year.
Okay, thank you, Zach. And that is it for your sports officer candidates today. Give them a big round of applause, all three.